in the Cadillac, Gaylord, and Traverse City. Oh man, you know what? I forgot to get the flavor of the day yesterday, which is my favorite, turtle. I love the Culver's custard turtle. Greg Paddock is here with us. Greg, have you ever had the Culver's?
I love Culver's. I actually just had Culver's last week.
Oh, no kidding? Yeah.
Yeah. I get the buttered cheeseburger.
Oh yeah. My favorite over there. I love the mushroom Swiss Butterburger. And then I'm really, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I get stuck on stuff. And so every time I go lately, I got to get the chicken strips. They're big, juicy. They're not like little teeny chicken strips you get at other places, overcooked or whatever. These are big, juicy things, and they give you a nice dipping sauce. And oh, so good.
Now I got to remember to try that.
I forgot to go yesterday and get the turtle, though. They'll probably have turtle anyway, so I could go today.
Oh yeah, I'm probably sure. I'm a Packer fan, so I always like getting their cheese curds.
Yeah. The further north and the further west, you know this. You're from Michigan. The further north and the further west you go in Michigan, the more likely you are to see more Packers signs than Lions.
Oh yeah, these are my people here.
Yeah.
I was born in Detroit.
Sure.
My parents are Lions fans,
but you're a Packer fan.
I had neighbors that moved in when I was 8 months old and told me, "You got to root for the Packers." A kid, you don't know, you don't know geography. So I'm like, okay. And my dad's gone now, but God bless his soul. He used to take me to go see the Lions and Packers with this little idiot kid going,
That's so good. Yeah, the Packers.
The Packers.
No.
That's
the Bears.
The Bears.
All right, so Greg Paddock is here with us. Greg hasn't been here in a while. You said you were looking at your Facebook, and you get the Facebook memories that pop up.
Yeah.
And you told me a couple days ago what?
It was April 4th, 4 years ago, that Ryan Harrison, my guitarist, and I were in here. And that was when I was releasing my first two singles, Cold Blue Morning and I'm Not Ready to Say Goodbye, and we performed them on here.
Yeah, that's right.
The only difference was the sun was in a different place.
Yes.
When we were here.
Well, we were doing the morning show.
Yes.
Yeah, and now it's in the afternoon, and the sun is shining right down on us.
Yes, it is.
I got the shade pulled, otherwise my head would shine right back. So, but now you're here though, and tell us a little about yourself for people who don't know who you are. You are from Detroit.
Yep.
You've been playing music for how long?
Oh gosh, I've been doing playing with like bands for probably about 15 years, like consistently. But for about the past 7 years, I've been doing like original music and stuff like that. And we're doing it like full time. I had a bad injury like 9 years ago, and the good outcome from that was music kind of helped me. It's a therapy, like piecing my brain back together.
Sure.
And here I am doing it now full time. I've always been like a musician. Like, I was in choir when I was growing up, played instruments.
Me too.
But this is something I always wanted to do. But, it was just, I worked the regular day job and, all those things that you do as a responsible adult. And, it took a wild injury to put me on the path to what I really enjoy doing. And so when people are like, sorry to hear about that, and I'm like, honestly, it was a blessing in disguise.
Blessing in disguise, absolutely.
And, taking advantage of it now to do what I love doing full time is just, it's surreal. To be here, like, I'm thankful for you bringing me back and for your support on my music. Like, seriously, like, people like you, it's that being an independent artist, it's like I have to promote myself. It's like I'm not signed, so everything I do, my music, pay for it myself, or, like contributions from people who have been fantastic through this journey. So big thank you to all my family, friends. My friends are family.
Sure.
And the people that I've met along the way, like I've made a lot of great friendships, like from do a lot of acoustic shows, like throughout the Detroit area, but also like play up here in Traverse City. We play Manistee a lot.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons you're here right now. You're trying to book some shows. Get ready for the spring and summer.
Yeah.
And so, do you have any booked right now? Are you going to be playing around here?
To be the Friday before the 4th of July. We will be at Manistee National Golf and Resort.
Okay.
That's I think it's Friday, July 1st, and then we'll be at North Channel Brewing, also in Manistee, on that Saturday. And then Labor Day weekend, we'll be back again, kind of the same thing, playing Friday at the golf course, and then Saturday at North Channel Brewing. And then I'm working on some other ones because I want to be playing here through, 4th of July, take advantage of it. So, and man, I would love to get in contact with the people that do Cherry Fest because I want to play Cherry Fest so bad.
Okay, well, I tell you what, I know some people who know some people, and so we'll get a hold of those people.
That would be fantastic.
And see if they can get a hold of your people.
That's the first place I ever met you was at Cherry Fest.
That's right, exactly.
They're seeing Toad the Wet Sprocket and Tonic.
Wow, that was so long ago.
Yeah.
So long that. Wow, yeah. Now Tonic at the time was touring with the Gin Blossoms, And I think the Gin Blossoms have been here twice. We introduced him when we were a different radio station. We were 92.9 The Breeze way back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And we introduced the Gin Blossoms the first time they were here. And then the second time they were here, it went to another radio station. But yeah,
I remember you doing
the Gin and Tonic tour they were on at the time.
Oh my God, I didn't. That's brilliant.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Wow, that's a good memory you got, dude.
Yeah, I'm thankful to have memories for stuff like that, because that was one of the things. One of the offsets, I was talking about it recently. Like I kept a journal, like when I first had my head injury, and I have to go back to that journal sometimes for those first two years at least,
right?
2-3 years, because there's things I don't remember. So it's like I go back and I'm talking to myself in the past to find out what I was doing.
Sure.
And and recently, in the beginning of February, I had another unfortunate incident with head injury, and ended up in the hospital for for a day, and struggle. It's like, so there were some issues that I've been having, like with sleep and everything, and I keep saying like that stuff's all in a tubs in storage right now. I'm like, God, I gotta go back and find that stuff to see how I dealt with certain things, like especially the sleep issues.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I have a sleep issue too, especially when they changed my hours here recently.
Yeah, I bet.
No more getting up at 3:45 in the morning.
Right.
Now it's a little bit. So CBD works great for me. I do the CBD thing.
I've tried the edibles, because
edibles are good too.
Yeah.
You just got to make sure you take the THC edibles when you don't have anything else to do. The CBD you can do just fine. Yeah.
I was going to take something last night, and I'm like, no, I need to be here. And even though it's like in the afternoon, I'm like, I was driving up from Manistee, so I'm like, no, I want to be totally fine.
When we originally planned this, we had you planning on coming in. We usually do this stuff on Fridays, but you've got to go and you've got to be at a gig tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'm playing down in Brighton tomorrow at Joe Cool's of Brighton, doing an acoustic show. And, it's like all the original music under the name Paddock, but when we do the acoustic, because I've been doing this for 14 years, this acoustic duo stuff, and my old bandmates used to call me Sugar Tips because of my hair.
Tips
with a P.
T-I-P-S.
Yes, and I do
thank
say
you.
that over the microphone all the time.
Thank you.
Because people always get it wrong.
Right.
And so when we do the acoustic shows, a lot of them are under the Sugar Tips name.
Nice.
And so I have like 3 Facebook pages. I have Sugar Tips Acoustic. I've got Paddock.
Yes.
Then I have my Greg Paddock personal Facebook page. And then on my website, it's paddockmusic.com. There's a tab on there for Sugar Tips Acoustic.
Okay.
That can direct people there. Or they can go to sugartipsacoustic.com. My brother's brilliant with websites. He's got it. He's got both domains, so it goes to the same website.
Right. And that's what we've got linked on our socials at Z93 Hits if you want to find out more about Greg and his music. And we're going to talk about some of that throughout here in the next few minutes. Let's ask you, the first time I met you, you told me about your association with J.R. Richards from Dishwalla, a band that I liked an awful lot, but didn't stick around for very long. No. They had that one big hit with Counting Blue Cars. How did you get hooked up with him?
It's so crazy. It was like the first time I ever heard Counting Blue Cars on the radio, it was like mid-'90s. I still remember thinking that, oh, U2 put out a new song.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it turns out U2 is one of JR's really big influences, and we have a lot of the same similar things that we were influenced by. But I just really hooked on with the music. And then their next album came out, but they had switched labels, and that's where they got lost. They put out like 5 albums, but they just kept getting juggled around by, record label stuff.
Yeah,
and
that happens, unfortunately.
So we met at some concerts, and then, it's like eventually added each other on social media, and he's really good with talking with the fans and everything. He's just such a wonderful person. And, they always say don't meet your heroes, but in this case, it's beyond your expectations.
And he ended up producing some of your music too, which I think is super cool.
Yeah, so he eventually, Dishwalla kind of disbanded in 2005, and he went on because he was the major songwriter for the band, and he was doing solo stuff. Well, in 2014, I think it was, 2015, he was working on 2 solo albums. Okay. One of them was an acoustic album, the stuff he wrote with Dishwalla. The other one was a new all-original. We were chatting, and one day I just threw it out there. I was like, hey, if you need any backing vocals, it's like, I know a guy. Oh. And about a week later, he messages me and had me come out to Santa Barbara. And so I was out there, and I recorded music for the acoustic stuff, which was stuff I listened to that he was playing with Dishwalla, and all of a sudden I'm doing backing vocals on these songs that I was influencing my kids on and everything.
That's great.
And then the new original stuff. And so then after that, it was like he really, really liked my voice and was saying, hey, if you ever want me to, I'd like to produce your music. And after that, he moved to England. His wife is British, and they moved over to England. And so I just, I was out there on a trip one time.
You spent some time in England too, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been, back and forth there probably, I think, 6 or 7 times over the past few years.
Nice.
And so we just slowly, because I'm paying for this myself, it's like we did a couple songs, and then we went back again another year and did more songs. And then this last time, I was over there house sitting for them while he came back to the U.S. to do a solo tour. I house sat for them, and then I knew I wanted new music I wanted to work on, so then I stayed longer. So I was there for a little over 2 months, and
so you could have him help you on your new music when he came back.
Yeah, exactly.
So here he is. So here he is. He's getting off the road. He wants to relax a little bit, and you're going to put him right to work.
Well, I gave him a
job.
couple days because he literally came back a couple days right before Christmas, and that's why I did it longer. Is I thought they're going to be jammed
Wiped
for Christmas and
sure.
everything, and jet lag. So I was like, all right, I'm going to add like a little extra time in there, and it was quite a thing because having to leave, it wasn't as easy as before. Like if this would have been 2 years ago, I'd been like, I'm gone. And I probably stayed longer than 2 months.
Right.
But, life has changed a little bit for me. So I was like, well, one, I have Brian, who's like my music partner, and we play all these shows. So I didn't want to leave Ryan high and dry. So I had to make sure that I had him covered, and then also being involved with someone. I was like, I don't know about this, but she was very encouraging. She's like, do it. And same thing, like, I talked to my kids because I was going to be gone for the holidays. So, I wasn't there for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, any of those things. So that was, there's a lot of moving parts that went with that, but it was, it was a cool experience being in a little tiny English village, you know, and,
now it was in that tiny little English village that you came up with the song, right? And the song is called Queen Heart. That's your new song.
Yes.
And it's inspired by a billboard that you saw, right? And also your girlfriend at the same time.
Yeah. So I knew I was writing. I had a bunch of lyrics, and I had basically almost 2 songs worth of lyrics. And I wanted, so for, it's like I could be coy and say, well, this song is just like in general, if you find the love of your life and treat him like royalty. But the gist of it is I wrote this for Sarah. And I actually almost named the song Sarah's Song.
Okay.
But in my phone, her contact is my queen with the heart emoji.
Yeah.
And so whenever she'd call me, and it comes through the car or whatever, it says, my queen heart is calling.
Uh-huh.
And so I thought, well, that'd be kind of like some cool lyrics. So I had that as an idea in there, and I had some other lyrics that I really wanted to make sure were in the song. And the first weekend that I got over there to England, I was staying at some small little tavern that was right on the River Thames, and they have this big garden area for events, and they were advertising, and it had a big wedding thing, and it said, marry me now, love me forever. And I thought, this would be fantastic. And the other thing, too, is before I left, I thought about it because I'm like, I'm going to be gone for a long time. I don't know if I want to do this. Don't want to be gone from her. And I actually almost thought about proposing to her. And then I kind of chickened out before I left. I remember sitting there in the airport, and I'm thinking, Tommy, why didn't you do it?
Yeah.
And so the song was also kind of written like as a proposal.
Right. Did it work?
Still waiting for a yes. I haven't got a no.
Really?
Still waiting for a yes.
Oh, come on. You wrote a song. I mean, and it's a great song, by the way. You sent me this song, I don't know, a month ago, and I said, I got to have you on. We got to talk about this song because it's way different than what you did last time. I think it's 100 miles better. Not that anything you did before was not good. It was great. But this, produced by J.R. Richards from Dishwalla, right?
Yes.
And this is very, I heard this song and it reminded me of Dishwalla, sort of. I mean, not so much where it wasn't a Paddock song and it was more of a Dishwalla song, but I just love the way the whole thing just kind of washes over you, and the separation of the it's really, really well produced.
Thank you. I was so happy with it because we didn't have the music written for it. So when JR and I started writing, sitting down for it, we one of the songs I was inspired by was a song that Sarah had actually introduced me to. It was a Blake Shelton song with Gwen Stefani.
Oh yeah.
And in that song, one of the things I really liked the guitar in it. The guitar in it had this sound, and it reminded me of something that JR has had on his music before. But there was one of the lines in there that says something about if you love someone, they say if you love someone, set them free.
Right.
And he's like, but that ain't gonna work for me, and not wanting to find out where someone's married, who they're married to 30 years from now.
Sure.
And that was the whole big thing. That was another inspiration for this with Sarah. Was like, it's like, I didn't want to be involved with somebody. I wanted to be going, and we had a common friend introduce us, and she just blew me away. And So I wanted her to know, I wanted the world to know, like, just how in love I am with this person, you know. So that was the whole idea behind it. And so that Blake Shelton song was kind of like, yeah, I want, you know, something kind of along that vein or whatever. So when Jan and I started working on it, and he was playing the guitar, he had the acoustic guitar that he was playing first, and he goes, this is kind of giving me like a Foo Fighters meets Goo Goo Dolls vibe.
Okay.
But then as we started going, he started adding piano to it and you listen to that, he goes, you know, I kind of changed my mind. It's more like Foo Fighters meets Radiohead.
Yeah, it's so good.
So, and I had somebody else say something to me about that. They were listening to it, and they're like, this sounds like, I get a Radiohead vibe from this, which is kind of funny because the village we were in, Radiohead is from there, and they know the lead singer's dad.
Okay, what village?
It's Oxfordshire area.
Okay, on Thames.
Yes, on Thames.
Sure. All right. Hey, very good. This is so cool. And listen, if she doesn't say yes after this, I mean, come on.
I hope she's listening, and if she is, I hope you say yes.
And this is your first crack at a love song, too, yes?
It is my first crack at a love song, yes. That is...
All right. Well, let's see if it's successful. It's Queen Heart, it's Paddock, and we're talking with Greg Paddock right here on the station playing the 90s to now on Z93.
Treat her like a queen, and she'll make you her king. Crazy in love, yeah, but sometimes just plain crazy. I wish it was as easy as it is to start. My queen heart, marry me now. My queen heart, love me forever. My queen heart, I'll be your king from the start. Marry me now, love me forever. Love me forever. And now I know you're near, for I can't breathe. Crazy in love, or sometimes just plain crazy. I want you to be sure now, 'cause this'll be forever. My queen heart, marry me now. My queen heart, love me forever. My queen heart, I'll be your king from the start. Marry me now, love me forever. I wish it was as easy to stop loving you as it was to start. It's like putting my hands up to stop the wave. It's a deep breath drawn before the plunge. My queen heart, marry me now. My queen heart. My queen heart, marry me now. My queen heart, love me forever. My queen heart, I'll be your king from the start. Marry me now, love me forever.
Z93, the station playing the 90s to now, and that's Paddock and Queen Heart, and Greg Paddock is here with us. Dude, if she doesn't marry you after that, come on, that gave me chills.
You know, it's funny. I had sent the song to my daughter, and that was the exact thing that she said when I sent it to her. She's like, I'm in tears, and if she doesn't say yes, she's like,
I mean, no pressure, Sarah, or anything, but I mean,
yeah.
she's probably listening right now, so
yeah,
that's so cool.
You know, it was kind of cool. Like I was just telling you about, like the lyrics. Like one of the things where it's really cool, like working with JR, is there's sometimes where I would have lyrics, and I'm like, all right, this line is too long or too clunky or whatever, and him having me like help fit it in. And at the beginning or the early part of the song, it's vague. It says, you know, I wish it was as easy as it is to start. And you don't really know,
right,
you know, if you hear it. But then later in the song, it says, I wish it was as easy to stop loving you as it was to start. And it's not meant as a bad thing, because actually there was another word that was supposed to be in there that says sometimes. So it wasn't like, you know, it was all things. But it's just like, you know, it's like putting yourself out there to be that in love with somebody. It's like you're putting yourself at risk.
Yeah.
And so I had guarded myself against that for a few years. I mean, this is a totally different song than the last one, which was Sunshine Smile.
Yeah.
Which was
a different
that was a whole
different thing. Yeah. I got you. Yeah, different.
I remember you saying before, like the title totally throws you off, which is the whole idea of that. This song, it was like, you know, I'd always had people saying like, why don't you write something happy? Because I wrote about my head injury, I wrote about my dad dying, my nephew, you know, battling colon cancer.
Well, I mean, so you write about what you know, you write about what you're feeling, and now you're feeling in love with this person, and so you wrote about that.
Yeah, so it's like, and again, I could sit here and be coy about it and just say, oh, you know, it's just like about maybe somebody that I would hope to meet or something like that. And it's like, no, it was written for Sarah. I had literally almost titled it Sarah's Song.
Right.
And so, you know, it's like, yeah, you know, it's like, I'm hoping for the bright future down the line. She's an amazing person. I think that she deserves having something like this written, you know, about her. You know, she works hard, single mom, you know, it's just, so it's a big call out to her. And the other song, one of the other songs that's on the EP.
And that's right. We should mention that you do have an EP out, and you've got a full album out too, don't you, from a while ago?
Yeah, the full one was, well, I guess the other one was, was considered EP as well, because there were 6 songs on there.
Okay,
But that was Cotswold, and that's one that was out a couple years ago.
Sure.
And so this one, the new EP is called Love Me Forever, and we did Queen Heart. There's another song on there called We're Not the Same, which is a total different vibe, and it's not about a relationship with Sarah, or, you know, it's like somebody, there's been some people like going, hey, you know, like, what is this? Because they're total opposite songs.
Sure.
But it was actually more of a follow-up to Sunshine Smile. But then I also did a cover of Billy Joel's She's Always a Woman.
Yeah, and two different versions of that, right? Did they both end up on the EP? Or?
Yeah, they're both on the EP.
Okay.
One of them is more, you know, full instrumentation, and the other one is just vocals and piano. Okay. I really wanted something because JR was playing that, and JR is just such a brilliant piano player. I love the feeling of piano music, and it just sounded really cool. But I've always loved the song, but for anybody who doesn't get it, like, you know, like people always have their ideas about people's relationships, but the song just really kind of like, that one, you know, it kind of fits sometimes when I talk about her. I mean, she's you know, an exciting person, you know. It's like, it's one of those people, it's like, I could tell you, like, you know, from the smile, the look in her eyes, the way she walks and stuff like that. And so, you know, and nobody's perfect. Right. I mean, we know that.
Right.
So that song's about, you know, like loving everything about somebody, even their little quirks. So.
It's very cool. Greg Paddock is our guest, and thank you very much for coming in and sharing this song with us. And if people want to pick up your music, they can go to your website. You've got a couple of them, with the big one, which is paddockmusic.com.
Paddockmusic.com, and you go to the music tab on there. And if I could mention really quick, tomorrow, like when you go onto that tab and you want to download the music from there, it takes you to the site Bandcamp.
Right.
Tomorrow is the first Friday of the month, and what Bandcamp's been doing since COVID to help out the artist is on the first Friday of the month, they waive their 15% service fee.
Oh, wow.
Which means I get 95%. The only fee that's taken out is they pay through PayPal.
Okay.
So PayPal takes their little tiny cut out of it. But for anybody that buys my music tomorrow, or starting at 12 a.m. Pacific time tonight, so 3 a.m. our time here in Eastern, anybody that buys my music tomorrow, I will get pretty much the entire amount of what's spent on the music goes to me, the artist. And being an indie artist, It's huge.
Nice.
It's huge.
All
Yeah.
right. So buy it tomorrow.
Yes.
Paddockmusic.com. If you want to get Queen Heart and own it for yourself, the EP is there. Other music is there as well. His tour schedule and other things that you're doing. And tomorrow you said you're playing in Brighton?
In Brighton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you going to be?
I am going to be at Joe Cool's of Brighton tomorrow at 7 p.m. We're doing an acoustic show. I'll be there with my guitarist, Ryan Harrison.
Okay.
And if I can also give a shout out, our full band, I'd like to also give a shout out to Spencer Ducato, our bass player, Colin Kerr, our drummer. These guys, I love playing with these guys. They're absolutely brilliant. It'd be nice to bring them up here sometime and do
absolutely.
some acoustic thing.
Yeah.
And if I could, one other thing I wanted to mention, it's on my Facebook page. I was just recently nominated for 7 categories for the International Singer-Songwriter Association's Award for 2023.
Perfect.
And so the nominations through the end of April, people vote on the different categories. So if you go on there under my Facebook page, it'll show the link to go to that. And everything's under Greg Paddock except for one of the categories, which is Band Single of the Year for Queen Heart, is under just Paddock. But if people go on there and vote for me, I would highly appreciate it so I can go to Atlanta in August.
All right, very good. Greg Paddock is here at paddockmusic.com, and all the other links are there right on that page as well.
Yes.
And we've got it up on our socials at Z93
thank
Hits,
you.
so people can easily find it. Thanks for spending some time with us and playing the new song for us as well. Best of luck, and don't make it 4 years before we see each other again, okay?
I'm hoping to be back up here this summer.
Okay. All right, very good. We'll be here. It's Ron playing the we've got a 93-minute nonstop playlist. We're playing the 90s to now, and it's